Okay, today's topic is Introduction to Pharmaceutical Code of Ethics. We will first see what are morals. We talk about morals. Morals are nothing but the good behavior and alertness regarding behavior and responsibilities. So when morals are formed into rules and come on paper, these are known as ethics. So when ethics come to field of pharmacy, these are known as code of pharmaceutical ethics. Now there is a fine difference between law and ethics. So law is the rule prepared by government of a particular nation, and it is applicable to every citizen of that nation. Whereas ethics, these are the rules prepared by some organizing committee or some governing committee of particular profession, and this ethics apply to the members of that particular organization or the professionals of that particular profession. So you can say ethics is a subset a similar kind to the law, but it is restricted to particular person or particular organization or particular profession. If law is broken, then the person is liable to punishment and penalties. And if ethic is violated, then that particular professional will lose professional privileges. Like in our profession of pharmacy, after having a particular degree like BPharm or PharmD or DPharm, we can apply and get ourselves registered to the Pharmacy Council of India, and so we become registered pharmacist. So when we become registered pharmacist, we abide by the ethics of the pharmaceutical profession. So if we violate ethics of pharmacy profession, then our registration may be suspended or it can be withdrawn. So, uh, so that is the difference between violation of law and violation of ethics. Okay. Law may prevent one from causing injury to other, but it cannot force a person to help neighbor or other people. Whereas ethics are morals, so um, it suggests that the a person should help another person with respect to profession. Okay. Now, selling a misbranded or adulterated drug is prevented by law, but selling medicine at cheaper rate than that of the fellow pharmacist in his particular area is unethical. By doing this, you are breaking down the other pharmacist business. So it is unethical. There are few similarities between law and ethics. So ethics and laws are complementary to each other and have a common purpose of well-being of the society. Both consist of rules to guide and conduct social cooperation, and both deal with right and wrong in the society. Next, we'll see Code of Pharmaceutical Ethics. This Code of Pharmaceutical Ethics are drafted by Pharmacy Council of India. The Code of Ethics is the guide for pharmacists that how he or she will behave in relation to his or her job, his or her trade, his or her profession or medical profession. So we'll see all this code of ethics with respect to job, trade, profession, and medical profession one by one now. So first is pharmacist in relation to his job. So we'll see what is the scope of pharmaceutical services when the premises are registered under statutory requirements. and opened as pharmacy, reasonably comprehensive pharmaceutical services should be provided. That means you have to get a license to open a pharmacy, maybe a dispensary or a pharmacy shop. Okay, and then it should provide all the services which come under the scope of pharmaceutical store. Okay, it should involve supply of commonly required medicines, and there shouldn't be any delay in dispensing medicines to the patient, and the shops should be equipped with the emergency supplies at all times. So this is the scope of the pharmacist in relation to his job. So these are the duties. To carry out these duties, the conduct of pharmacy, the condition in pharmacy should be such as to preclude avoidable risk or error or of accidental combination in the preparations, dispensing and supply of medicine. That is, at all time, pharmacists must look after and be alert to prevent risk of mixing of another substance other than medicine while preparing, dispensing and supply of medicine to the person. The appearance of the premises should reflect the professional characteristics of the pharmacy. It should be clear to the public that the practice of pharmacy is carried out in this particular establishment, and the signs, notices, descriptions, wordings on the business, stationery and related indications should be restrained in size, design and terms. So this last point mean that all the signs, notices, descriptions, whatever utilized by that particular pharmacy and logos utilized by the pharmacist should be same in size, color, description on every material which is being dispensed by the pharmacist from that particular, what you can say, particular dispensary or shop. Okay, next under pharmacist relation to his job is handling of prescription. So when a prescription is presented for dispensing, should be received by pharmacist without any discussion or comment over it regarding the merits and demerits of the therapeutic efficacy, because this may lead to dilemma in the patient whether the medicine is proper or he is suffering from certain severe disorder, or the prescriber, maybe a doctor, is proper. So to prevent such kind of psychological effects on the receiver, there shouldn't be, I mean, pharmacist should not react on the prescription when it is being received. The pharmacist should not even show any expression on his face of alarm or astonishment upon the receipt of the prescription, as such things may cause anxiety in patients or their agents and may lose their faith on pharmacy. Sorry, on physicians. Any question on a prescription should be answered with every caution and care, should neither offend a patron nor should it disclose any information which might have been intentionally withheld from him. It is not within the privilege of pharmacists to add, omit, or substitute any ingredient or alter the composition of a prescription without the consent of the prescriber, unless the change is emergent or is demanded purely by the technique of the pharmaceutical art and does not cause any alteration in the therapeutic action of the receipt. So this particular point says that the pharmacist is not allowed to add or to omit or to substitute any medicinal product which is prescribed in the prescription unless and until something which is purely related to pharmaceuticals and techniques of compounding a medicine and which doesn't alter the therapeutic efficacy of the prescription. Only the technical part retained to the pharmaceutical sector is permissible to change by the pharmacist. Otherwise, medicines cannot be changed in the prescription while dispensing without the consent of the prescriber. In case of any obvious error in it due to any omission, incompatibility, or overdose, the prescription should be referred back to the prescriber for correction or approval of the change suggested. So, a pharmacist finds out some medicine which are omitted, or there are incompatible medicines, or there is a overdose and risk of toxicity, then pharmacist should approach back to the prescriber and suggest the change in the prescription, and after the approval of the prescriber only the pharmacist can make the changes in the prescription and dispense it. Okay. While such an act is imperative in the best interest of the patient, in no case should it be done in manner which may hamper the reputation of the prescriber concerned. So when pharmacists refer back to the prescriber due to some reasons and makes changes in the prescription, the pharmacist should all time remember that it should be done in such a way that it doesn't cause a reduction in the faith of the medicine of the person who is receiving medicine in the physician who is prescribing the medicine. In matter of refilling prescriptions, a pharmacist should solely be guided by the instructions of the prescriber. He should advise patient to use medicine or remedies strictly in accordance with the intention of the physician as noted on the prescription. So while dispensing the medicine from the prescription, the pharmacist should take in consideration the counseling which is to be given to the patient along with the prescription, and should keep in mind the intention of the physician who has prescribed this particular prescription. Next is handling of drugs. All possible care should be taken to dispense a prescription correctly by weighing and measuring all ingredients in correct portions by the help of scale and measures. Visual estimations must be avoided. So while you are in compounding and pharmacy and dispensing pharmacy, so that time when you compound a medicine, the procedure should be by weighing and measuring using appropriate scales and measures, and visual estimations. चलो इतना है इतना ही होगा डाल दो, ये practice must be prevented. Okay. Next is always use drugs and medicine preparations of standard quality available. He should never fill his prescriptions with spurious, substandard, and unethical preparations. A pharmacist should be very judicious in dealing with drug and medicinal preparations used for addition or any other abusive purpose. So we are aware that there are certain substances which act upon central nervous system and they are habit forming. So such substances are liable to abuse and we call it as drug addiction. And there are many rules and restrictions upon refilling of the prescription, dispensing of the medicines, and the pharmacist, while prescribing such formulations, should be very conscious with respect to laws which abide this formulation, and accordingly the pharmacist must dispense such narcotic and psychotropic substances. Next is apprentice pharmacist. So while in charge of a dispensary, a drugstore, or hospital pharmacy where apprentice pharmacists are admitted for practicing practical training, a pharmacist should see that the trainee are given full facilities for their work, so that on the completion of their training, they have acquired sufficient technique and skill to make themselves dependable pharmacists. So apprentice pharmacists are nothing but the trainees which take upon job under certain dispensary or hospital pharmacy. So that time there should be a supervision, proper supervision onto the trainee, but the trainee must be given some freedom to dispense and compound medicines so that they develop skill in filling prescriptions and maintaining drugstore. No certificate or credential should be granted unless the above criterion is attained and the recipient has proved himself worthy for the same. So unless and until the trainee develops the skill of maintaining and refilling prescriptions and maintaining the drugstore, once he attains proper skill and has proper experiences, then after the certificate must be issued, otherwise it shouldn't be issued to the trainee. So that all was with respect to pharmacist in relation to his job. Now we'll see next pharmacist in relation to his trade. So what is the difference between job and trade? A job, here we look a pharmacist as if drugstore pharmacist, maybe the pharmacist have his own shop, or he's working somewhere in the dispensary with some doctors, or he's working in hospital pharmacy. This is what is and this is what we meant by the pharmacist in relation to his job. Now, next we are going to see pharmacist in relation to his trade. So, trade, the synonym for trade is business. So now it is easier for you to understand that whatever all manufacturing and distributions and sell occur with respect to proprietary medicines and the duties of pharmacist in relation to this trade, that we are going to see now further in this discussion. So first is price structure. So prices changed from charged from customers should be fair and in keeping with the quality and quantity of commodities supplied and the labor and skin required in making it ready for use, so as to ensure an adequate remuneration to the pharmacist, taking into consideration his knowledge, skill, the time consumed, and the responsibility involved, but at the same time without any undue taxing the purchaser. Okay, so price which is fixed for a service provided or a commodity which is dispensed should depend upon the quantity and quality of the drug and excipients which are being used in compounding, the manpower which is required to do this, the skill which is required to formulate a particular medicine, the knowledge and the time consumed by the manpower in formulating this particular medicine should be considered. But there shouldn't be any exaggerated charge onto the medicine. I mean the price which is offered from the customer should be fair enough. Next is fair trade practices. No attempt should be made to capture the business of a fellow pharmacist by cutthroat competition, that is, by offering any sort of prizes or gifts, or by knowing charging lower price for medical commodities than those charged by the fellow pharmacist. So one cannot enhance their sale by offering some gift or cashback policy or prizes or lucky draws for the purchase of medicine. Okay, next is, in case any order or prescription genuinely intended to be served by some other dispensary is brought by mistake to another, the latter should refuse to accept it and should direct the customer to the right place. So, by any chance, a person comes with a prescription for some other kind of pharmacy. Say a person needs um maybe Ayurvedic formulation from Ayurvedic dispensary, and he approaches allopathic dispensary. Then the allopathic person must direct the person to the Ayurvedic place rather than asking him to send and I'll make arrangement and I'll supply and then you charge for the purchase and then supply. So that this is unethical. So the allopathic person must direct the patient to the Ayurvedic place. Labels, trademarks, and other signs and symbols of contemporaries should not be imitated or copied. Say a particular pharmacist shop is going very well, and he or she has kept some particular attractive logo which is very popular in the community. So one should not imitate or copy that particular logo and apply it on their shop. So this may be misleading, and person and the consumer will find that okay, this is similar, so this is a franchisee of this particular pharmacy, and they go and start purchasing in another place. So this is unethical. This should not be done by a pharmacist. Next is purchase of drugs. So drugs should always be purchased from genuine and reputable sources, and a pharmacist should always be on his guard not to aid or abet directly or indirectly the manufacturer, profession, distribution, and sale of spurious or substandard drugs. So this says that a pharmacist must purchase the drug of quality from authentic resources and never purchase and distribute and sell spurious and substandard drugs. Hawking of drugs. Hawking of drugs and medicinal should not be encouraged, nor should any attempt be made to solicit orders for such substances from door to door. So you cannot sell your drug from door to door like फेरी वाला. कोई मेडिसिन ले लो, कोई दवाई ले लो, ऐसे कभी भी मेडिसिन सेल नहीं कर सकते. That is restricted by ethics. Self-service methods of operating pharmacies and drugstores should not be used, as this practice may lead to the distribution of therapeutic substances without an expert supervision and thus would encourage self-medication of prescription products, which is highly undesirable. So now as we have provision in malls and some shops that we can go at place and pick up what we want and come to the counter and make a bill. So such kind of practice cannot be done in pharmacies. This is because there are drugs which are over the counter drugs which can be given without prescriptions, but a large fraction of drugs are such that it requires prescription. So if such self-service is provided, patient may pick up a medicine which is prescription drug or maybe a drug which has liability of drug addiction, and this will lead to unethical practice, and this generally causes harm to the person who will take such medicine without prescription and supervision. Next is advertising and displays. No display material either on the premises, in the press, or elsewhere should be used by a pharmacist in connection with the sale to the public of medicines or medical appliances which is undignified in style or which contains any offer about the refund of money, or it is misleading or exaggerated statement or claim, or the word cure in reference to an ailment or symptom of ill health, or a guarantee of therapeutic efficacy, or an appeal to fear. So there shouldn't be any advertisement of the medicine in press or in media where the medicine says that if you purchase this, will refund this percent of money, or there is uh, misleading statement for the claim of the efficacy of the medicine, or the word cure is used in front of the particular symptoms. This is because the curing of a disease or symptom depends upon number of factors and not only on the medicine. So only a medicine cannot cure it. Okay, or there is a guarantee of therapeutic efficacy. Now again, every individual is different, so one cannot guarantee that this particular medicine will act for everybody. So such statement cannot be written onto the what you can say, the label of the formulation, or it causes a fear in the public कि अगर हमने ये नहीं लिया then will suffer from particular disease or disorder. So such claims cannot be made while advertising or displaying a pharmaceutical product. Next is pharmacist in relation to his profession. So we have studied in relation to job, in relation to trade, and now the third is profession. So it extend help to fellow pharmacists in emergency need. It should maintain standards of the profession, should try to weed out corruption in the profession and society. He should not be afraid of bringing or causing a miscreant to be brought to book, maybe a member of his own profession, should have up-to-date knowledge of professional matters, should have fair knowledge of laws related to his profession. Next is pharmacist in relation to medical profession. So limitation of professional activities. Pharmacists under no circumstances take to medical practice, that is diagnosing and prescribing medicines. In emergency, he can give first aid to the person, should not recommend a medical practitioner. Next is clandestine arrangement. No pharmacist should enter into the secret arrangement and contract with the physician to offer him any commission or any other advantages. So there shouldn't be any tie-up between a pharmacist and a practitioner. A pharmacist बोलेगा, okay, मेरे पास कुछ लोग inquiry के लिए आए, I'll send those people to you, and physician will say, okay, whoever comes, I'll prescribe medicine and send those people to you. So such kind of tie-up shouldn't be there between pharmacist and the physician. The liaison with public, being a liaison between medical profession and people, a pharmacist will always keep himself updated with the modern development of pharmacy by regular reading of books, magazines, etc. So these were the ethics of pharmacy profession, which are prescribed or drafted by Pharmacy Council of India under the Act, Pharmacy Act 1948. So similarly, Pharmacy Council of India has listed pharmacist oath. So this is what it says. I swear by the Code of Ethics of Pharmacy Council of India in relation to the community and shall act as an integral part of the healthcare system. I shall uphold the laws and standards governing my profession. I shall strive to perfect and enlarge my knowledge to contribute to the advancement of pharmacy and the public health. I shall follow the system which I consider best for pharmaceutical care and counseling of patients. I shall endeavor to discover and manufacture drugs of quality to alleviate sufferings of humanity. I shall hold in confidence the knowledge gained about the patients in connection with professional practice and never divulge unless compelled to do so by law. I shall associate with organizations having their objectives for betterment of the profession of pharmacy and make contribution to carry out the network of those organizations. While I continue to keep this oath inviolated, may it be granted to me to enjoy life and the practice of pharmacy respected by all at all times. Should I trespass and violate this oath, may the reverse be my lot. So with this, we end today's lecture. Any questions?
No, ma'am, it's clear.
Because this has nothing much to explain. Whatever is drafted and laid down by the Pharmacy Council of India, that we are